to Breaking the Cycle. My name's Stephen, and today's date is the 9th of April 2021. So it's been a long time since I've been on. A lot of stuff going on for everybody over the last year, myself included. I just wanted to do a video this time to uh, describe my experience that I had when I was taking Infliximab. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I started taking the Infliximab in I think it was September 2018, and it was sold to me as the next kind of course of action to take to try and stay on top of the Crohn's and prevent um, fistulas and just basically get on top of it. So I did a bit of research into it, and I found it was a TNF blocker. It's a biological uh, drug that they've made. They use I think they use mouse proteins or some sort of voodoo stuff to make it. Whatever they do in the labs nowadays. And anyway, so I was taking it for a while. If to go in and do infusions, and went through the initial loading period without any issues. Um, did like none of the I found I'm taking azathioprine now, and like I find that basically none of the drugs really work. Like it's all for me, and anyway, it seems to be diet is like the biggest factor. Now it's probably not fair to say that like the azathioprine, since I've started it, I'd say me frequency of bowel motions has kind of subsided a little bit, so it is having a little bit of an effect. um Anyway, so they wanted me to go on to the Infliximab as well, so I did the Infliximab, went through the loading period, and everything went okay. And then I was about, what was it? I was probably about like 6 months in, and I was in work, and I was just working away. I work as an electrician, and I was down kneeling on my knees, working on the ground on a capstan winch, um, at a where a boat where ships moor, at a jetty. And anyway, so I was working there, and I was on my knees for quite a while working. It was just the way the position of the device was that I was working on. And that night I went home, and my knee was just swelling up, kind of. So I didn't really think anything of it, like it was pretty sore. And the next day when I went into work, the swelling was still there. It was quite, noticeable. So I didn't really, like I said, didn't really think anything of it. Just chalked it down to getting older, being on my knees for quite a while on a steel surface. Maybe that's all it was. So I carried on, did me work the next day, and the swelling just got worse. I mean, knee was blown out like at this stage. So it hung around for a few days. I was taking like Epsom salt baths and stuff just to try and get rid of it. Wasn't quite sure what it was. At the time I was doing training as well, so I was doing a lot of skipping and kicking and punching and that kind of stuff. So I was thinking maybe it's just, issues with that. And so as the time kind of wore on, I was going in and out of work, and it was just getting worse and worse. Everything was just swelling up. Like I'd come home from work after the day, and the soles of my feet would swell up. It felt like there was like pebbles underneath my skin. Um, but my knees would swell up, my hands would swell up. I'd get home, I'd be like struggling to walk nearly. So I was getting worried about it at this stage, and it was dragging on for weeks, and couldn't really put two and two together what was going on. So it was starting to wear me down a bit. It was getting pretty bad, to the point where like you're in your car and you open the door with your elbow. Just push the door open with my elbow, and then the next day my whole elbow would swell up. Or I was using a screwdriver, I'd be just like screwing something or whatever, and then there was a golf ball under my skin. My whole hand would swell up. It's just anything I use, my fingers would swell up. I got these weird little dots on my toes. I have a picture. I'll throw up a picture of it. I still have it now. Just these weird little white dot things, kind of like hard calluses almost like. And it was bad. Like it was really bad. Like I was taking painkillers during work, just about getting through the day's work, getting home, absolutely just wrecked with the swelling, barely making it up the stairs, straight into the bath, into Epsom salts, having to just go to bed early. It was just messed up. So I started kind of thinking, like, what could this be, And the only thing that had changed was that I had started taking this Infliximab stuff, like relatively recently, within the last 6 months. So I started digging around on the forums and stuff, and found that it can be a side effect. So, long story short, it was drug-induced lupus. So needless to say, I started freaking out at this point, and it was getting worse and worse the whole time. So, went to the doctor, told them what the story was, told them what my theory was. They sent me to a rheumatoid specialist, and she was really good. She's retired now, but God bless her, she was really, really thorough, and listened to what I had to say. I took it on board straight away, which is fairly rare a lot of the times. They kind of discount what your theory is and go down the wrong road, which is fair enough, I suppose. That they're the trained doctors, but it can be frustrating. And so yeah, she sent me off for a heap of tests, and basically there was lupus markers in my blood. So I stopped taking the Infliximab. I was like, right, I'm obviously having a reaction to it. It was like my body was rejecting the Infliximab. I was having a reaction to the type of protein that they use to create the drug, and it was worse than the Crohn's symptoms. At least with the Crohn's, I can go in and function and go to work, and occasionally you get pains or whatever, and you have to have a day off here and there. But with this, I was barely able to get through the day, and I couldn't play with the kids, couldn't do anything. By the time I got home, I had to just recover for the night. And so anyway, I went into the specialist, then to meet gastro specialist, and I've been seeing him years. He's sound, and he's done really good, really well by me. But yeah, he's so when you gonna take your next Infliximab, when we book you in? And I'm like, never. I'm not going near that ever again. And you're winding me up. I could be stuck with this. It's worse than the lupus, or it's worse than the Crohn's. I'm not going near it. So he wasn't too happy about it. He thought we're making progress with your Crohn's and I'm like, yeah, but the symptoms from the drug are worse than the symptoms from what you're trying to alleviate. You know what I mean? And if I get stuck like this, my quality of life, telling you now, if you know of anybody that has lupus, say a prayer for them. Honest to God, you think Crohn's is bad, and I know Crohn's can get messed up. I've been relatively lucky with it up until this point, Jesus, your standard of life would just drop off a cliff. It was scary, So I stopped everything, which I just freaked out. I stopped everything. Stopped the azathioprine, stopped the Infliximab. I was like, right, I'm just going down the au natural road, So that was in 2019. So I went through from 2000. It was about September 2019 through to September 2020, say. And lo and behold, fistulas are back. So I tried all the natural stuff. I'm still am like with diet, and the diet is the biggest component, but I just can't seem to get on top of it. What I was doing in 2013, last time I had the fistulas, and managed to cure them following the SCD diet. It doesn't seem to be working as well now. There's definitely like blame. I have to take blame for that as well, because I haven't been. I don't know what the story is. I haven't been as strict as what I should be. Finding it a lot harder to be strict. Um, I have a lot more to live for nowadays. Like I've got kids now and all that, and like I should be finding it easier to be stricter with my diet and take care of myself. But for some reason, I don't know what the crack is. I just can't do it as well as I used to. Now I feel quite recently I'm after kind of turning the corner with it. More out of necessity now because the fistulas are back. So it's either basically get rid of the fistulas or get surgery kind of thing. So um, yeah. So I don't know. I just wanted to to share this with people that are thinking about going on to the Infliximab. Um, I'm in a position now where I'm trying to get rid of the fistulas. The fistulas won't close. I have like a bladder infection that's just ongoing for months and months, and they want me to go on to Humira because it's quite good at getting rid of fistulas. It's another biologic, so obviously given the previous experience, like I'd rather not, but I can't get rid of this fistula, and I've got an infection from months and months in my bladder. So I need to do something because it can't go on like this. It's going to cause more issues. It's I've enough on my plate with the Chron side of things without getting a chronic bladder condition or whatever. So I'm in a catch-22 now. I need to get rid of the bladder infection. I can't get rid of the bladder infection, and they can't put me on the Humira until the bladder infection is gone. So I've had all these different types of antibiotics. Nothing seems to work. So I'm getting stricter and stricter now with the diet, and that, like I said, I think I have to turn the corner in that regard. So some other people have, you go onto the forums and there's people that swear by the Infliximab. They've had great results. So this is just my experience. Don't let it be the sole reason for you to make your decision. It's definitely something to consider. Like I stopped taking the Infliximab, and then it took about 6 months. About 6 months before I could jog again. That was from my last dose of the Infliximab. It took about 6 months for the symptoms to totally alleviate. I thought I was gonna be stuck like that. I was scared. So something to consider. Just my personal experience. Make up your own mind. Or do your research and stuff. And if you do take it and you start noticing things like that, look up the drug-induced lupus, and take solace in the fact if you're stumbling across this video because you have the exact same symptoms and you've stopped taking the Infliximab and you're worried about it, thinking that it's not going to go away. For me, it has gone away totally. It's gone now. The only thing I have is those weird little dot things that kind of formed on my toes, whatever they are. But there's that I know of, no long-term side effects from it. It's like it seems to have just, once all that Infliximab got out of my system and the body had time to recover, it's just gone. So, and from what I've read on the forums from other people that have had the same experience, they recovered eventually, but it's very slow. It takes time. So just give yourself time to heal, and try not to stress about it too much. It does go, or at least it did for me, and it seems to have gone for the other people as well that I've seen. So yeah, food for thought. Thought I'd just share that. So hope yous are all well. Take care and good luck.